Welcome to the Crypto Compliance Podcast from Cense. I'm sitting at the table with Hugo, episode 3, From the Shadow to the Spotlight. In this episode, we're going to take a look at it from a crypto holder perspective. Is that correct?
Yes.
Because crypto holders are in a constant battle to fight for legitimacy. Where do you think that comes from?
Yeah, so let's first talk about the crypto owner side, right? So the world is getting more and more crypto owners every day, right? So the growth in crypto is really tremendous. We're currently already over 600 million people in the world that hold crypto. And basically every Western European country has a crypto adoption of about somewhere between 10 and 20%, depending on the country. That means that 1 in 5, 1 in 6 of every country is a crypto holder, and that's truly significant. Yes, and when you take a look at the innovation that blockchain brought with it in the early days, you can also understand that from a criminal perspective, they are always trying to out-innovate everything, right, in order to obfuscate money flows. And crypto was also part of that it has been misused. Also, when you take a look at the press side of things, you very often hear about these hacks and these cracks and money was stolen and then went to North Korea. But I don't think that you hear the normal crypto holder like myself and my neighbor, right? So, we invest small amounts of money and then, it doubles, which is great, right? We can, maybe pay off a little bit of mortgage. We can buy a new car, these kind of things, right? But those are not the stories you ever hear. What you do here is the 1.4 billion hack on Bybit, for example, that happened a couple of months ago. These are the stories that you hear in the press, but these are not the standard stories that happen in the crypto space. We're talking about 600 million people plus, and this is one user that we hear in the press. We don't hear the other 600 million people, and those are the people that either won a little bit or lost a little bit, but also trying to take care of themselves.
So over the percentage that use it in criminal area is so much smaller than the people that use it like regular people.
Of course, there are many more normal people in this world than there are criminal people, right? So at the end of the day, if you ask me, right, so that from a global perspective and the big companies like Chainalysis that take a look at this market, they say 0.14% of all transactions have a criminal label on top of it. But that doesn't mean actually anything, right? So from my perspective and my work within law enforcement in the organized crime area, I see that less than 5% of the people have criminal intents with crypto. And that means that 95% of the people does not have criminal intents at all. They just want to gain more money. And because at the end of the day, it's a speculative asset. People want to have more money. They take the risk to invest something in Bitcoin. We also have people that truly believe that this is going to be the future of money. We also have people that just want to make a little bit more money. We also have people that, they heard something from somebody and they also just want to get in before it's too late and all of these kind of things, right? And these are the majority of the people that work with crypto, not the criminals.
And the majority of the people, crypto holders like you and me, when we try to convert these funds to the traditional banks or the fiat, what happens?
Well, I've experienced this a lot myself, right? So basically every time that I have a 10,000, 20,000 euro a transaction move into my bank, it depends a little bit on the bank, but one of my banks would block my account would set it on minus 360,000 euros, and then I can expect an email for compliance. And basically, they will ask me to send them all my details. So I go into my wallets, I copy all the wallet addresses, I put it in an email. Then I go to my crypto exchanges, and I have a few. So, I have to export all of the CSVs. And then I also have to basically prove where my, the transaction from my bank into the crypto exchange. So I need to have some of the bank statements and then get all of the crypto exchange exports and then all of the blockchain wallets. And then I put it in an email and then pray.
Because there's no guarantee that you will be approved?
As a crypto holder, you have zero insight in the process that happens afterwards. That it's a secret process. So there will be a judgment after analyzing all of the data. hopefully same day, next day after that, right? Maybe a little bit longer. In the meantime, you still have to wait because the account needs to be blocked. So you can't access any of the money, you can't make any payments. Until the compliance analysts have actually done their work and have come to a conclusion, yes, this is legit, you can just move on, or no, this is a problem and we're going to offboard you from the bank, because that's the end result of the final end result of these kind of processes. So at the end of the day, the amount of work that I need to do in order to get those proceeds on my bank account, if possible at all, it's a tremendous amount of work. My biggest problem then is next time I want to do that, I get exactly the same questions, right? Because they have to do the checks again. And for this, I have to do everything again and again and again and again. And I understand that from my position, right? So you just need to provide all of that information. But if there was a smarter way on how to deal with this.
Yeah, you've talked to a lot of crypto holders. What is is this one of their biggest frustrations they have with the banks, or is that?
Yes, of course. I mean, so the biggest challenge that we understood from all of our validation conversations is the uncertainty if your money can land on the bank. That's where the real problem is, right? So do people care about sharing their data? No, they just want to have the money on the bank. And if sharing data is part of that story, then they will, everybody will just do so. I haven't found any customer yet that said, no, I don't want to share my data with the bank, right? Because at the end of the day, they want to have that wealth on the bank account and make real economy payments out of this, like your mortgage and your car and all of these kind of things, right? So they don't mind sharing that data, but it takes a long time. You don't know if the bank's actually going to approve it. What happens if the bank disapproves that? What happens to your bank account, right? You may have been customer of this bank for the last 40 years, right? But will you keep your bank account? And that uncertainty is actually much worse.
Yeah, because the burden of proof of the ownership is still with the user, correct?
Absolutely. So you as an end user, as a crypto owner, you have to be able to articulate how did you get this money? And then it's up to the bank to actually check that story if this is correct. Now, the good thing about the blockchain is it's all data driven, and data doesn't lie. You can't cheat on the blockchain anymore. So your story will be checked. And if that check match out, then you're good to go. And there's no problem whatsoever. But that also comes with the understanding that the bank has the people, the process, and a system in place in order to do all of these checks.
A lot of users don't have the tools to generate the necessary documents to get the bank approval.
Yes.
How does Cense play a part in this?
Right. So the thing is that from a documentation perspective, the crypto owner can actually only provide the transaction details that he has done, right? Transactions, trading, mining, staking, lending, you name it. And that generates transactions. And then you send the transactions to the bank and they need to start analyzing it. But a compliance analysis of those transactions is not something that an end user can easily do themselves, right? So there are a whole set of laws that need to be applied to those to that data in order to get the outcome that the law requires. And unless you're a compliance specialist or you have a true understanding how that is done, then you still need the tools to do it, right? But at the end of the day, it's compliance data, so it's basically secret processes. Well, it's not really secret, of course, but it's secretive. Mm-hmm. Because the bank doesn't want to tell you what they're doing, because then you can start cheating their system, right? So that is very normal. So there's a secretive process that goes beyond it, and it's just not possible for a crypto owner to actually do that. Now, where we come in is we create the documentation for the bank, mm-hmm. right? So we don't create documentation for a crypto owner, but we are basically the middle part where a crypto owner can request documentation in order to send to the bank. Right, so this is not our core model, because normally we send we sell our software to the bank. That's mm-hmm. what Cense does. But we have encountered, due to our our position in the crypto space with Glassnode and all of these other companies that we have. So we encounter a lot of crypto owners. You have to imagine, for example, on Glassnode, we already have access to about 1 million people in the crypto space, and a lot of them are crypto owners, of course. And all of those people, many of those people have challenges with their banking relationships, right? So we also have people that come to us and they ask, can you help me create this documentation because my bank is asking for it, right? And of course we can help and send that documentation to the bank, but we strongly believe that the banks should be able to provide this as a service towards their customer in order to double check them and give them an harmonious banking relationship.
Trust is a recurring theme I hear in almost all your answers. How do you build that trust between the crypto owners and the systems?
Yeah, trust is rarely gained and easily lost. So I think it starts from the beginning of how we have set up this company. So with Glassnode, of course, we have a very trusted position within the crypto space, where we do Bitcoin analytics and crypto analytics on that data. And I think that being born from a highly trusted company in the crypto space towards the crypto owners, I believe that we can say we're very trustworthy. You already have known us for the last 10 years and you've trusted us for the last 10 years. From a institutional perspective, that's a completely different story, right? So you need to build up trust, and that trust, you do that in a few ways, of course. First of all, you've got to say what you do and then do what you say. I think this is the best basis to build trust. But then again, you also want to have to prove it, right? So for example, within our systems, what we have done from day one is we've implemented SOC 2 controls in order to be able to audit this trust, right? So are we saying that, are we doing what we're saying? And do we have an auditor on top of that actually checks that if we're actually doing what we're saying that we're doing? So we're currently SOC 2 Type 2 audited, and which is a high standard of being able to trust our systems and the processes around it, the data privacy around it, and all of these kind of things that we have. And that basically creates the foundation of the trust to move forward. Yeah, and then furthermore, we as people, we're data geeks. We only have one interest, and that's to deliver a report towards the bank, where the bank can make their own decision. And yeah, that's what we do.
And if you would look at a better future, how would it look?
Well, in the future, I strongly believe that most banks will be able to accept wealth derived from crypto. Right? Our mission is, we decode that complexity of the blockchain for the end user, and we strongly believe that our tool can make any bank a crypto-friendly bank. Now the question really becomes is which banks are going to move first? Can we support them in that journey? Which banks will come later? Can we support them later in the journey? But at the end of the day, any bank that has the risk appetite to embrace that blockchain industry, we will be next to them, supporting them and making sure that they are compliant in that crypto space.
All right. And if we have one final thought, what should a crypto user do to be prepared for transaction with the bank?
Contact us. Just send us an email. We are basically positioned for you to be able to collect data and make sure that the data gets reconciliated, then gets reported on your data and send that to the bank. The interesting thing is I don't think there are a lot of companies that have the ability to do the same in an automated way as we do currently today. But the documentation that we spit out is actually the one that you need for any bank.
And if I contact you, can you give me a time frame? How long does it take for me to get audited?
Yeah, most of the time. Most of the time you're busy with our system. You're basically connecting your wallets and connecting your crypto exchanges. It works in a similar way as you're used to your portfolio tool or your crypto tax tool. It's a similar way. So basically you just connect it with your read-only keys or with your public key from the blockchain wallet. And then we can start downloading that information and having a analysis on this. Basically, we provide two ways on this. So if you are a not super complex user, we most likely can do this automated. But of course, we also have very complex users that have a lot of transactions, automatic trading, maybe some meme coin trading that they've been doing in the past. And that side is what we call a bespoke side, because you can do anything on the blockchain. Doesn't mean we can do calculate on anything automatically. But what we do there is we have a success-based approach, right? So we take your data, we make sure that we communicate with your bank to make sure that they understand our report and take a decision on whether they can accept you. And once that money lands on your bank account, that's the moment that you can pay us.
That sounds good. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.